What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. So on the last episode, I took out the motor and tranny, but since then, I've taken the transmission off the motor, and I have the clutch and everything situated up there on top of the bike. The head and stuff is over here, but before I get into that, I have to finish pulling the pistons out the block, and then I'll explain to you everything that's going on with the motor and transmission. So let's get to this right now. Alright, so we removed all the pistons, as you can see. So now let me explain to you what exactly I'm doing. So first of all, the motor is running fine and everything. Pulled the motor and tranny out because for some reason the clutch wouldn't disengage. Couldn't figure out why. So pulled the motor and tranny out, and then I pulled out the clutch, and I noticed, I don't know if you can see these right here, these little lines right here. The clutch, for some reason, got stuck to the pressure plate. Right here, you can see where the pieces were like stuck on the pressure plate. And because of that, it wouldn't disengage the clutch when you clutch in. So in other words, you would clutch in, it will press the pressure plate, but the clutch wouldn't disengage because it was still stuck to the flywheel. So it was always under pressure. I don't know why that happened. If anybody knows, you can leave a comment down below. But I'm assuming possibly the clutch got too hot and it melted to it. Not sure. So it looks like I'll need a new clutch setup. So that's that problem sorted out. Then I decided, since I have the motor out, I want to take it apart because I want to make some more power. So for everybody that don't know, this is an RB25 Neo, bone stock. stock internals, stock piston, stock rods, stock cam, stock head, stock everything. The only thing I did change was the injectors. So I put DHworks 1000cc injectors in there, and then still stock manifold, but I welded a T4 flange so I could run a T4 turbo. And then I just put the wastegate directly onto the turbo for better boost control. Other than that, completely stock motor. So this motor on pump gas made 380, and then on E85 was somewhere close to maybe 480, almost 500, possibly, not sure. Because when I switched to E85, that's when I started noticing the car being a little funny. So what I remembered was these pistons here are capable of handling up to about 400 to 450 reliably before they start to go. So my thinking is I yank them out now, put in forged internals, basically catch the problem before it starts. Now, the other issue that I have is when I bought this motor originally, hold on. All right, that should need some grease. Anyway, when I bought this motor originally, there was rust inside this motor. So there was rust on the crank. I had to get the crank polished. The head had some rust in it. Whatever the case is, I had pulled the motor apart and replaced all the seals, new piston rings, everything, all OEM. But now the problem is, if you notice right here and like right here, you can see a little bit of wear on the cylinder walls. So what I think I'm going to do is machine the block half size over and just run slightly bigger pistons so there's a proper sealing surface on the whole piston, and then basically throw that back together. So that is currently where we're at right now with this whole setup. I also want to get rid of this whole stock intake thing. This thing is kind of a headache for the fact that the intercooler piping needs to come over and then go forward. So it's getting heat soaked from the head. And also there's a whole bunch of like vacuum lines that I really don't like. I just want to get rid of all of them, make it look cleaner. So I am going to be changing the intake manifold if I could find one for a decent price, because these shits are fucking ridiculous right now. And possibly might be changing the exhaust manifold. Don't really need to because this one's been working perfectly fine. But if I just happen to find one, I'll do it. If not, oh well. But that's currently where we're at. Because as you can see, pistons are looking okay, but not really sure how long more they would have lasted under my driving. The ring, the bearings for the rod bearings, they look in pretty decent shape. So those are pretty okay. But other than that, that's currently where we're at right now. Head is sitting over here. I might, depending on my budget, I might do some stuff to the head. Not really sure, but as it stands, the head is completely stock. So that's where we're at with that. And well, you see where we're at with this. I need to finish stripping all of this off, get it down to the bare block so I can send it to the machine shop. But I'll see when I get around to that. I'm not going to do that for now. I think that'll probably be it for today. So until the next one, catch you guys.